So, all right. So I'm going to present my screen, and we'll be in this view pretty much for the rest of the workshop where I'm presenting my screen. So right here. So this is what I was planning on covering in this workshop, but I can much more customize it to what you guys need because you're the ones who are here. But this is what I'm prepared to cover. And then I have this little section over here for participant goals. So as I'm reviewing what I'm prepared to cover, if you wouldn't mind just having in your head, like, what do you want to walk away with? Like, what is the most number one important thing, or two? It can be more than one thing, but like, what is the thing that you need help with the most, that you know you need help with? And I'm going to write that down so that we're absolutely sure to address that in this meeting. So in this workshop, we are going to cover logging in basics, Google Classroom navigation, what you need to know as a parent. So this is like for me as a parent too, because my students are also, my children are also students using this platform. And as a parent, I know there were several things that were really frustrating for me. So I have some tips on what you need to know as a parent. How you see your students' assignments and due dates. That's what we want to know. What it is, what are the instructions, and when it's due. So I'll show you the ways to do that. Signing up for updates, and as a parent, you can get, if your teacher invites you as a guardian, you can get updates. We can talk about that. How to make comments in the Google Classroom. You can make comments in the Google Classroom as a parent, and I've already done that with my own children for their teachers when there's been like issues and things that I know my kid couldn't articulate that needed to be articulated. Instead of sending an email, you can attach it right to the assignment, and so that it's right there so that we're all on the same page. And then the final thing is all the different types of posts in a Google Classroom. There's several different types of posts, and then that requires different actions. And then we'll have a question and answer session at the end was my plan, but since it's just the two of you, I think we can do questions and answers through the whole thing because it's just us. So that being said, is there anything that you would like to personally cover that you have a question that I did not address on the agenda?
No, not me. I'm just to gain any insight on what you're teaching.
Okay, go ahead, Pam.
Yeah, actually, I think you covered everything. Okay. So if we can like just get those, I would say we're really good.
Okay. So before I switch the screen, so logging in basics is just about your students getting connected to the Google Classroom, which I know that Naya can get in. And so are you both, Miss Hutchison, and tell me your first name again, Naya's mom?
Aman.
Aman. So Aman, do you need me to cover logging in?
No, it's fine. This one is fine.
Yeah, I'm good.
Okay, so the first thing that we're going to look at is what you need to know as a parent, how to see your students' assignments and due dates. Super important. Is that okay if we start there with you guys? Is that sound good? Okay, just making sure. All right, so when your child logs into Google Classroom, the very first screen they see is called the dashboard. And the dashboard consists of all these cards of all the different classes that these students are a part of. This is my child's account, and so he has a lot of classrooms because he has his actual classrooms and then what I have him enrolled in. But something that's super duper important as a parent is if your teachers are putting due dates on their assignments, it shows right here, and I love that feature as a parent because I want to know quick what is due. And so you can see here on the card that these tells you today, tomorrow, or any other dates due on Sunday. So that's the first way that you can know that something is due. Now the trick is this: if your teacher's not putting due dates on there, it's not going to happen. Mm-hmm. So I just as a teacher, I know that I want my kids and my parents to be aware of when their things are due, so I put it here. The other place that you can see due dates is over here in calendar. All students have a Google Calendar. This is, you can see my son's calendar. and he's got a million things due because he's enrolled in classes that he's not actually in. So poor guy, this isn't good for him. But what it does have, so when your child joins a Google Classroom, it creates a folder automatically in Google Drive for that classroom. It also creates a calendar for them. So you can see over here, here's all the classrooms that my poor kid is enrolled into, and I can select what I want to see and what I don't want to see. This happens passively. Your student doesn't have to do anything to get these calendars. It's just a part of the Google Classroom package, which is what we like. Think of the Google Classroom as a workflow tool. It is a way for students to get assignments sent back and forth from the teacher and for the teacher to present materials, and it completely organizes it for them. So that's one of the reasons why we love Google Classroom, because it passively creates these calendars. So if you want to see your child's calendar, you just type in calendar.google.com and you just make sure that they're logged into their APS account, and you'll be able to see all their classrooms on the side. You can uncheck different things, so you can start minimizing all. Let's see if anything starts minimizing. You can see things are starting to go away there. As I'm unchecking things, your student should not look like this because they're not my child. You can also change the view. This is on the week view, but you can change. I happen to be a month view type of person. I like to see what's going on in my month. What it looks like to me is that here, my son's teacher has invited them to the schedule here. So my son's teacher, actually, this is outside of their Google Classroom, and I can tell because you can see things that are outlined in a color like black or blue. That means it's from Google Classroom. These are events that, so this is for my son so that he knows what his schedule is. And I don't know if your classroom teacher has done this, but it is possible. So that is the first way that you can see what is due. I am going to go into my third grade technology classroom as a student, and so that you can see another way to see your students' work and to see if assignments are completed. So there's a lot of, let me just talk about stream. So there's 3 different tabs at the top that your student can see. The stream isn't really helpful when teachers are just posting materials or assignments. Sometimes they post questions in here, and that is useful in the stream. But as you can see, it's just not really organized. It literally is just a stream of information. So as a parent, I don't find that looking at this stream is really helpful, especially when the teachers are not using the question and answer feature, which most are not right now because they're still learning the tool. The most important place that you need to go as a parent in your student account is Classwork. Now, Classwork is organized in a couple of ways. When teacher posts something, and they don't put it in a topic. These large headings here are called topics. And these are ways to organize. They're kind of like chapters in a book, maybe. And they're ways to organize everything within a topic. If they don't have topics, they will have nothing here, and everything will just go into this, just in reverse chronological order, stacking up at the top. And so hopefully your teachers have started to use topics to organize, and then you can access. So like if I wanted to see August assignments, I can't see it here. So I'm going to click August assignments. And what that does is bring up the assignment for me so that I can see what's going on with this assignment. Here you can see if the student turned it in on time, or if this was the due date, but it was turned in late. So I can see that information as a parent. Here is where I was talking about those class comments. So you could say, this is Lance's mom. We are confused about. And so right there, the teacher will get that comment right in there. Another way that you can talk to the teacher is right in the assignment itself. So if I click on whatever's on the bottom, And right now I've got a view only, and I can tell you why. It's because I turned this in. When your student turns in an assignment, it takes away the editing rights for that student, but it's super easy to get it back. It used to be harder. Let me show you how to do that while this is loading. When you're in a topic, you have to actually, this is non-intuitive and I don't like it, but you actually have to click here. Oh, it's because I didn't actually make that comment down there. And you can see that this student right here, your work, parent, Aman, this is where you need to see. This is the work associated with this assignment. I turned it in late, but I want to work on it now. And so I click unsubmit. And when I click unsubmit, I will now have editing rights to this assignment. So let me go back over to the assignment. And I'm going to refresh this page because it loaded in the view only status. You can see now it no longer says view only because I unsubmitted this assignment. And that can be done at any time. Once a student turns something in and they go, oh wait, I forgot to blah, blah, blah. They can go back in, you just unsubmit, and you can work on this assignment. So another important thing to keep in mind is sometimes these assignments, this might be a link to a website. Your teacher may say, watch this video and be prepared for class tomorrow. If the teacher made it an assignment, and you know it's an assignment because of this icon right here, this is this clipboard icon is a type of activity that students can do in Google Classroom. And it's a signal to you that an assignment requires an action from a student. Usually it's turning something in. And so even though the student may not have done anything here except go to the website, they still need to turn it in order to let the teacher know that they completed that assignment. Now, I'm gonna just look at the two of you. I've been talking a whole lot and I can only see Miss Gail right now, but I just wanna take a moment. There you are, that's okay. I just wanna make sure, I'm going fast and I wanna make sure you're tracking with me, or if do you have any questions that come up?
For the unsubmit, could you show me one more time how to?
Absolutely. Absolutely. And while I'm doing that, it's Aman, right?
Aman.
Aman, yeah.
A-M-A-L.
If you need me to show you anything again, I will. So just think if there's anything else you use. So if I'm a student, I'm turning this in. I just click turn in.
Okay.
And now I would just click unsubmit. But but it's tricky to get there. So let me back out because it's not easy to get to this screen. It's not intuitive. I have to constantly teach this in my, and in fact, the third grade teachers asked me, please show our students how to do this because it's not that easy to do. Okay. So here I was on this Gmail Basics, and you can see now, by the way, do you see how this clipboard is dark and this clipboard is lighter? That's an indication that this has been submitted by this student. Okay. And so that's another helper right there that you can visually see, okay, this is a clipboard. That means you're supposed to turn something in. And I can see that you have turned this one in, but you haven't turned this one in. So that's something else. So right here, ladies, the way that your students submit is they actually have to click view assignment.
Okay.
That seems like it should be easy, but it's not. It just takes a little training. So you click view assignment, and then there's where you see your work here. However, as I showed you earlier, if your kid goes, oh, I want to go to August assignments, I go to the topic, I still see that same assignment, but do you notice how the view assignment's not there? I don't know why they did that. It's not there, but you can get to view your work. You just have to click on the name of the assignment. See how it turned gray? Oh, look, I have to discard that again. There it is. So it's confusing to the kids because they don't, I mean, it's like the same thing. It's confusing to the grown-ups. So but that's how you submit and unsubmit work. Now, here's probably one of the most important things that a parent needs to know about this whole classwork tab, and here it is, right up here. View your work. It's really small and unassuming in the corner, but as a parent, for me, this is the #1 most important thing I want to see, and this is why. When you click view your work, you just get a list of all the assignments, when they're due, and what the status is. So it'll tell you here at the bottom, we'll go to the bottom, this was turned in, but it was done late. So now I know that. If it's not done late, or if there's no due date, it'll just say turned in. Missing means the due date has passed and I still haven't done anything. Assigned means that either there's no due date, sometimes teachers don't put a due date, or it can mean there is a due date, we just have time still to do it. So to me, this above anything else is the most important thing as a parent. Again, I'll show you where I got that. When you go to the landing page, every time you come in, you'll be at the stream. You're going to see the banner for the classroom there. You click over to Classwork, and I like to just go to business. What's your homework? Now, once I know what's missing and what's late and what's assigned, then I can go back into the stream. The second most important thing is, what are the instructions? What are the criteria? What does your teacher want you to do? So that's when you go in and you look at the specific assignments. Like, let's go back into work here. I'm upset with Lance. He did not turn in. This is missing. We definitely need to look at that. So I'm going to look Google Sites Setup Digital Portfolios. So I'm going to go back into the Classwork tab, and there it is. It was due September the 14th, and I can go in here and I can read the instructions. And it tells me here, review the slide presentation below to complete the first 2 steps to set up your digital portfolio. Set up your website, customize your website. So my lesson is right in here. That's what, let's see, this is a different one. So I won't get into assignments just because teachers do assignments in different ways. Any questions before I keep charging forward?
No.
So just to confirm, like even if we turned an assignment, we can just like end submit and continue working on it.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. So it's not final when we turn it in.
No.
Okay.
Yep.
That's good to know.
Okay. Yep. Any other questions?
No.
Okay. So let me go back to my little guide here so I'm sure we're on track. Oh, so let's talk about signing up for updates. So let's see. So for people, so when you click the People tab in a student view, okay, I can see the teachers that are assigned to this classroom. I can ask to email them right from there. So if I want to just email my teacher and I don't want to have to look it up or anything, I can just go right there. And we can actually, the students can email each other as well. On teacher view, I'm going to go back to teacher view. I want to show you about inviting people. So Aman, have you received an invitation to join the Google Class as a parent to receive updates?
Yes.
Did you sign up for that?
Not sure, but
it's okay, because if you had, it would give you the option to receive a daily or weekly update. Okay. And so when I'm in 3rd grade over here and I look at people as a teacher, here is where I would email guardians or invite guardians. See that? So the teacher actually has to invite you. So if they haven't invited you, you're not able to do that. But I have good news. It's not really worthwhile at all anyway. It just doesn't really show you. And in fact, I'm a part of a national Google educator group, and they were literally just talking about this the other night, that the best thing to do you can receive updates, but they're very limited. And let me show you, let's see if I can find an old one from one of my other, from one of my own kids. It just doesn't show you the detail of what you need to be able to support your student in terms of what the instructions are, what the materials look like. It's very, so let's see, Google Classroom update. Let's see if I can find an old one for you just so you can see what it looks like. I haven't signed up for them for a long time. Oh no, it's in the category updates. No, I want update. Oh, there's nothing. I wanted to have that ready for this training just so I could show you how worthless it is, which is it really just doesn't help. It just says like, Miss Chapkin posted assignment, it's due tomorrow. But as a parent, that doesn't give me enough information as this little lovely gem right here where I can just look at, oh, and I'm not a student anymore right here. Your work, view your work is the most important thing in the world. So for Aman, what I would do, just like you've done now, just log in with Naya's account to join this meet. Just what they said on my group was, if you have an iPhone, you need to download the Classroom app. Okay. If you have a Android, I think you still have to download it. It's not a part of the native thing. Never mind. You have to download the app. So either go to the Play Store or the iTunes Store, download the app, sign in as Naya, and then you just have it right there on your phone. And so you can view the work. Also, did you notice up here? Here's Google. Let me zoom in a little bit. So up at the top, they've made it easy. This is the best parent access ever. Here's view her work. Here's the calendar. So you could see all of the classes with due dates. It's not just this class that will show up. Anything with a due date will appear on this calendar here. And then here's the class drive folder. So remember how I told you when the student joins, they automatically get a folder? Mm-hmm. So, and that Google Classroom is a workflow tool. This is the flow holder right here. Everything that happens in Google Classroom goes through this folder. Let me make sure I'm still in a student account. I am. So let's look in here. Let's see what's in here. This folder was created as soon as Lance joined this class. He didn't have to do a thing. And he doesn't have to do anything in this folder. It all automatically happens for him. So this is the third grade technology classroom. And here's all of his work associated with that classroom. Those are all of his work. Now you can see that he's the owner of these two, but I'm the owner of this one. Can anyone guess why? It's because as soon as a student submits their work or turns in their work, they lose ownership. The teacher is now the owner. The teacher is now the owner, and they can no longer edit it. So it's a way to like say, okay, you have till Friday to turn it in. Now, we were talking about turning in and unsubmitting. So the way that it used to happen last year was that once the teacher was the owner, the student had to request access to get it ownership back. So if there's a due date, once your student submits with the due date, they will have to they can click unsubmit, but they have to then request access from teacher. So this is the way to protect the cutoff deadline so that students, there's only a certain amount of time you have to work on this. But if there's no due date, you can always unsubmit. One, if it's past the due date, the teacher has to grant permission for that. But if there's no due date, the student can always pull it back and work on it again.
So as long as it's not due yet, we can unsubmit. Otherwise, if it's due, we need to request access from the teacher to send it back.
Yes, ma'am. And that goes straight to the teacher's email. It's a notification. And so it's usually pretty quick if the teachers are on their email. And believe me, they're on their email all the time right now because we're in remote learning. So let me go back to our agenda here. Oh, the different types of posts in a Google Classroom. So let me share with you what that looks like, as long as we don't have any other questions. Okay, I'm just making sure, because I just going fast. Okay, different types of assignments. Let's look in Kid View first. So, so there's this clipboard icon. Let's talk about this clipboard icon. What do you, since we've already talked about it, what do you already know about the clipboard icon? Just share out.
Something's due.
Something.
Yeah, an assignment's, it's an assignment that needs to be turned in.
Correct. Yeah, that's pretty much it. I can't think of anything else you need to know. Oh, and I guess just what we were just talking about, there's this ownership issue with that, right? Once you've, whatever's associated with this assignment, once the due date's passed and they've turned something in, they no longer have ownership of whatever assignment has been added there. So that's what you need to know about that. Here's a different icon. It's right here. It will never be dark gray. This is what's called a material. And it looks like a little paper with a bookmark on it. A material is just that. It's a material. Nothing's due. This is my Google Meet link. So I just want this up here so that the kids always have access to this. And so a lot of times we'll just make this a material, like a reference material. And nothing is due here. Let's see if I have more down here. I do. So all my recorded lessons, like I supply all the, after each lesson, I put the recorded lesson up for the kiddos. It is also a material. Nothing is due. Now the other things I'm going to show you, I don't even use that much. And I don't think the classroom teachers are using it that much either. But so here are all the different types. So we have an assignment, which is the clipboard. We have the material. Here's something that I just haven't used much, but I want to. That this is a question. So this actually allows me to post a question. I can choose the answer format, either multiple choice or short answer. This is like a quick assessment. So if the topic was, 3x3 digit multiplication, I could say, tell the instances when we would use 3x3, like whatever my objective was the day before, I could ask a question and would it all collect right here, would be posted in the classroom. So if your teachers are posting questions, it will have this little question mark icon right there. So it does require an action from your student. And when you see it, just know that it's most likely just a quick assessment from your teacher. Your teachers may be giving a grade for it. Could I give a grade? I don't even know. I bet I could. Yeah, see, teachers can give points to this. And that's the other thing. Teachers can assign any type, they can either call it ungraded, or they can, I could say this is worth 10 points, or however they're using it in their grade book. Yeah, so that's what a question is for. It does require an action from a student, and it may be used as a grade, depending on your teacher's policy. And then the final thing that you need to see is this quiz assignment. It will also have a clipboard icon next to it. I'm going to change classrooms really quick because I just did a quiz assignment this morning, so I can show you what that looks like. Right here. A quiz assignment utilizes a Google form for students to take. So in this class, right here, and so I'm going to, there it is. So there's the little form. So a Google form is what teachers use as an assessment. It's usually an assessment. I don't know if our teachers are using this much yet. Some are, but I just don't know to what extent. So all you need to know as a parent is just that if you see a assignment like this, you know, we know this is our clipboard assignment, but that there's a Google form attached to it, that most likely is an assessment of your student skills. And what's cool about it as a teacher, let's see, I think I'm going to go back into this one and show you here. No. See, if I click here, I'm going to actually get the assessment. So this is what it looks like for a student here. And anything that's got this little red dot is a required field. Just I know you've all both done this a million times. That's what we do on the internet all the time, is filling out our order form for Amazon, and we have to fill out all the fields, right? So this is the same kind of thing. But let me go into the edit mode, because just so you can see what the capabilities are. No, that doesn't help either. Oh, I want to see what my responses are. I didn't look yet. Ooh, I'm going to go back and look later. See, that's what's nice for the teacher, is that we can see. So this is what the teacher sees. We see all of what our students have answered. So I'm just trying to think if there's anything else you need to know about forms as a parent.
Okay. This form that you're showing us is the teacher would utilize for quizzes, or, you know, or an assessment, like a morning check-in form. It's already out, right? And then and this, where it says responses, this is where the teacher would see.
This is what the teacher sees, yeah.
This is what the teacher sees, yeah.
The kids don't see it. So I asked them for their student ID number. I asked them to list the most important skills they've learned and what they still have questions about. They want to know how to make a link. Good, now I know that. So that is pretty much the basics. I don't see anything else here. Let me go back into student. I'm just my student account. When a student, here's something else you might need to know. So anytime a student's in a Google Classroom, they always have access to their other Google apps. Some of, like, one of my assignments with the third graders that they've been struggling with is that I'm having them make this digital portfolio. You see that there? But they don't make the digital portfolio in Google Classroom. They actually have to go to Google Sites to do it. So this is a third grade skill that we usually work on, is working on 2 tabs at once. Here are my instructions in Google Classroom, but I have to go to this tab right next to it to work on whatever it is that I'm working. So in this case, it's their student, their digital portfolios that they're working on. So as a third grade parent for Naya, she's got to work on, here's what it, so that's something that you can help your student with while they're in Google Classroom, is where do they have to go to work on their work. Now, what I like to do, oh, here's another thing, is that none of these things here, this, all of these are assisting documents. Where it says their name, so that's what you should look for. Anything that they're responsible for turning in has their name next to it. That's really useful. So this is the thing, if they go to turn in, when they go to view assignment, this is the thing that they're turning in. And there will always be their name next to something if they're required to turn it in. These other things, an image, a video, a website, those are all links. So I guess that's another tip, is that it's got the title of what it is, the title of it rather, and below it is what it is. So here's how to insert a slide, but what it is it's a video. And down here it says how to take a screenshot. Well, that's just an image showing how to take a screenshot. Here's the title, Chromebook Simulator. I can see here, because it starts with HTTP, that this is a link. And these are all supporting documents for this assignment right here. And this is the thing that they turn in. So that's really helpful to know as well. One last little tip here about this. Sometimes, I'm just going to erase this. Sometimes it looks There's nothing here. It says there's nothing here on your work. But we have this add or create button. So this assignment might say, open up a Google Doc and write a summary about the chapter you read. So rather than supplying, I'm gonna make a copy now because I think it'll put it back. So it's actually, so even if I accidentally, as a kid, erase my work there, they might accidentally click that X, you can get it back. See how I got it back? But this maybe go watch this video here and then go to Google Docs. So they would press add or create. And then they would open up a Google Doc and write the summary or whatever it is that the teacher asked them to do. So sometimes there may not be a provided template up here with their name on it. The teacher just may expect that they add a slide or a sheets or a drawing, or they add a link. So, and then, or anything from Google Drive. So that add or create button is really important as well. So write the, reading the instructions are really critical on to know what the teacher expects for you to do. And I find that our students, especially our younger ones, like third graders would especially as well, they're so visual. They're used to their iPad and their icons and they just press the picture. That's what they're used to doing. They tend to not really focus in on the step-by-step written instructions. And in Google Classroom, unfortunately, there's no way to give verbal instructions like record our voices for people who struggle with reading or whatever. And so as a parent, really emphasizing read all the instructions and follow the instructions is really important for the kids to be successful. Because like for me up here, just to show you, I always include instructions. Oh, this is not a good example. Neither is that. I don't have a good example, but let's see. Here are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Here are the 5 things you need to know. So they really need to practice those reading skills and looking for the list of instructions. So I'm just going back. So we looked at all the different types of posts, how to make comments, signing up, seeing assignments, navigation. So I have pretty much shown you all the basics and we have 3 minutes left. So that was good. And I just want to give you an opportunity to ask any further questions, or if there's something you've been wondering about on a related topic, we can address that as well.
I have a question, and it's one that I think I've talked to you about. When my teacher shares the documents and the slides, and for example, like the first slide would be the intro, just a morning slide for the kids to see what the class is going to be about or what's going to be taught, and she'll have a link. And on the link, and the kids would to open up, like if it's a Go Noodle or something like that. And I'm on my iPad watching the slide that she's put up, and then I'll go on my phone and bring that up as well and press on the link or links, and I can't open them up. And I thought,
I think I might be able to help you with that. The kids get hung up on this as well. So if it's on a slide, it's on a slide, right?
Yeah, it's on the slide.
This is the problem. I can tell you what it is right here. Let me let this load because I know what the problem is. This only happens in slides, especially when it's in edit mode.
Yes, an edit mode.
Yes. What happens is you click, so like right here, this is a link. Okay. When I click here in edit mode, let's see if I can, darn it. Look. Oh, so see, here's the request edit access. This is a student. This is where you would request edit access here. Okay. Actually, this one is going to work because it's not in edit mode. So let me go over to, okay, here we go. I'm trying to find okay, now I have to go over here. I'm sorry, guys. I just need to find the place where this lives as an example that I can show you. Here, I have to go to the same presentation, just not as a student. So now I'm a teacher, so it'll look different. So I have edit mode. So you see my editing tools came up. And kids get mixed up with this as well. You click a link, nothing happens. But something happens. It's just a little tricky. Come on, baby. These slide presentations take a while to load. So here's our link. It's not working the way I want it to work. What happens there? So I click the link, nothing happens, but something did happen. Can you see what happens? It's really small. I'll do it again. I'm going to click out. Watch for a change on the screen. Did you see it? Aman, did you see it? But do you see the change? I want you to tell me what the change was. I'll make you work for it. Okay, I'm going to do it again. So here we go. This is a link. I'm going to click it. Something happens. Do you see the change? It's hard to see. This is why our kids don't see it either. There's the link. It appeared at the bottom. It's there. Yeah. So I actually have to click that. So even though I click the thing that's like, click the image to view the website. So I click it, nothing happens. Because I actually have to go down, because I'm in edit mode, I have to go down here and now click the link, and then it works.
It does not bring up the little link in words when I'm tapping on my phone. Is it because I need to click the access edit?
No, it should work. What I thought you were experiencing was this, and this happens to our students all the time. Okay. In edit mode, when there's a link and it doesn't work, they actually have to physically tap that link yet once again in order to receive it. On your phone, if you're not getting this little pop-up down here, I'm just not quite sure why it's not working for you. So that's a bummer, but maybe if I can see your phone sometime, we can troubleshoot through that. So I think we have covered a lot. I hope that, do you feel like you have gained some information that is going to help you?
Yes, actually, this is really helpful. So I would say, especially like after submitting, because sometimes like Naya didn't finish it and she said, oh, I already submitted. So I know that now I can unsubmit and we can work on it. Okay, so.
Yeah, awesome. Glad to hear that.
Reference material, also this is good.
Yep.
Like know where's the important stuff so we can always find it right away instead of start like looking at it somewhere else.
Great.
So, it's really helpful. Thank you.
You're most welcome. Thank you for showing up. And I will be posting this on do you know how to get to the remote learning site for Georgia O'Keeffe, our Google site, Aman?
No.
You don't? Oh, what I can do is post that link in the chat, because the reason why I want you to know this is because I did record this session, and you might think later, oh my gosh, I wish I remember what she said. I can't remember what she said. So you can access this recording. So let me stop the recording really quick just to get that done. And then what I'll do is